This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Ladder, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, that's on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the September 22nd edition of One Nation Radio here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. I am your host, Rich Ladd, of course, here with my co-host, James Boyd. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much. I just wish that I could record police pulling me over for speeding and I could talk to them that kind of way and claim it as kayfabe. I wish.
We can start there if you like, sir. This is one of these free format shows, a.k.a. we don't got shit written down or planned, so y'all want to just get it off the dome, freestyle, if you will. I've been deep in the lab making music, trying to make some hit records and stack them up and be able to put them out. And, you know, there have been a couple things in wrestling that I've been paying attention to in the meantime. But, yeah, you brought it up, James. Lacey Evans, tell us what happened on that. a GTBW moment, if there ever was one.
Yeah. Apparently she got pulled over in Canada, I think outside of Edmonton or in Edmonton or whatever else. And then she, while she's getting pulled over and during a real traffic stop, not a work, it's been confirmed that was not a work. She goes off in character and is calling Edmonton and Canada Nazis, and she says, "Do you know who I am?" Which is obviously heel move. She's in character, but it's like time and place, and like she got ratioed, so
good for
her.
One
of those where, yeah, I'm just like I thought the gimmick that you were running was like you would be, you know,
respect the police, you know,
yeah. Apparently, I
obey the law.
I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Just comply.
That's not on brand for her.
Just comply.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, if she had got if something happened to her, I'm sure it would not have been. You know, it would have been one of those. She was in character. She was just playing around. It would not have been the. You should just follow. You should just respect the law. The law. Nah. So, I'm glad. I'm glad that she's okay. I'm glad that nothing happened to her.
She was like,
it ain't like, but it is not like that for everybody else. And I just hope that she realizes that when she goes around with the wheelie foo and playing and shit.
Yeah, she hit him with the I don't know what type of police this was, but you know it was Edmonton, I believe. So I don't think it was a Mountie or anything, but she hit him with the do you know who I am? And he was like, he looked at her deadpan, was like, no, like that shit was awesome. But I wonder if there was some type of arrangement made. She like, hey, you know, I'm such and such. You mind if I shoot you? I don't know if that happened, but I would be interested to see if that story comes out.
According to the news story touching on it, that's not the case.
Man,
that was all legitimate. It just happened. Like she was out here running a gimmick on a cop that had no idea. He was not he was not smartened up.
Shooting, if you will.
Yeah,
man. So I did earlier watch the Shingo Takagi and Hiroki Goto match from Destruction, a real man match indeed. I'm glad that Shingo is a heavyweight now, and then they are referring to him as such. This was awesome. And I thought that it just built and built and built until the end, where it was like, yo, they kicking the shit out of each other. Like, so it was, and Goto kicked out of a bunch of big moves. Shingo kicked out of Shoten Kai. I loved it, and it's right up my alley. If it's not flips, I want it to look like that. So, what did you think of this, James?
I thought it was great. I thought it was very, very, very damn good. And then all of a sudden, they start the sequence where they're just like, it's just back to back clotheslines where they're just knocking the tar off each other. You can see the sweat flying off each other after every like lariat, and you're just like, yo, this is wild. Like they're beating the shit out of each other in safe places, not like Naito Ibushi we were just talking about off air a second ago. I don't want to see another one of those ever again. But yeah, it was wild, and like I don't know if it was better than their G1 match or not, but like they're both great fucking matches, so it's like I don't really and also there was so much wrestling I just all on a blur. I don't really remember that well, but like I mean, it's definitely at least 4.5 for me.
Yeah, I think I was about 4.5 on it when I was watching it. I'm on my timeline right now, and all of a sudden I see Cody Rhodes put up a picture with Dominique Wilkins, of all people, and I guess they did some type of thing together. So I guess those Atlanta roots run deep, for for Cody and such. So another thing that I saw on my timeline over this past weekend was the discussion of black wrestlers in AEW. Now, this kind of thing has kind of come up before as far as like people in color in general in AEW, and there were a lot of complaints that were going on that didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. I remember you sending a tweet out before, James, that kind of like exposed what people was really talking about and almost encouraging them to say what they really mean, right?
Yeah. I remember, I'm trying to think how long ago it was. It might have been like January or something. I saw people that were, WWE apologists talking about diversity in AEW because AEW is coming a thing. And I guess their concern was that there weren't going to be any people of color, which, like, nah, that really wasn't what they meant. They really meant there weren't going to be any black people. So I mean, I went through the closest thing that they had to a show AEW, which was All In. Just went through it. It's like, okay, you have 4 Mexicans in the main event. You have a Japanese dude who was in one of the headlining matches. You had another Mexican that was in one of the headlining matches. Then you had trying to think who else was in there. And you also had Jay Lethal, one of the headliners on All In.
And Ibushi was in the main event too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Ibushi. Yeah, and then you also throw in like they had one of the better women's matches in North America last year in that 4-way. So for me, major North American wrestling. So for me, it's just like, all right. So what you really are saying is that you don't think there will be any black people, that's a fair or fair representation of black people. And I think that's a fair place to fill if you're a person that just has any passing history of the entertainment business or wrestling business in North America over the last, count however long you want. This has existed. So for me, it was like, don't say it's a diversity problem because that has diversity there for what you saw at the time, and even now in AEW with Joshi wrestling and with the way they do treat the Lucha Brothers and Lucha Bros, and also how to spot case with whoever's like the hot person in AAA or whatever. So that's diversity isn't a thing. What you're saying, or it is a thing, but like it's always comes down to whose diversity are we talking about, right? So diversity is subjective. So if you're talking about there aren't enough black people in here, just say that, and then like we can have that discussion as opposed to like giving, for lack of a better word, white people any excuse to latch on to just avoid any conversation about what you really want to have a conversation about. So just don't beat around the bushes. Go ahead and talk about it. Speak on it. So now, as far as from what I remember, I think you said that Sonny Kiss is the only black male singles wrestler on the AEW roster, right?
Yeah, that I can think of. Besides that, it's just Scorpio Sky, who's in SCU, of course, and Private Party. Unless I'm missing someone else, I believe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a struggle, just like anything else. Like when it comes to AEW, because AEW supposedly is the best of the, or it's kind of like the rest of the indies after NXT has came through and rated the indies, right? From PWG and AEW and wherever else around this country. So we go often to these different indie shows, whatever else. Like, do you see a representation of black wrestlers compared to like other forms of entertainment, Rich?
I feel like it's about the same. Like when you look at like, all right, if there's a lack of black people in for say Hollywood or something like that, or who wins in Hollywood, it feels like the same type of energy is around that. Yeah, and so like for me. Like for me, yes, on Twitter, like I saw the whole thing going down, and over this past week, it came up again, and a lot of the the FDS, as I call them, and was jumping on this like quite heavily, and I felt like I didn't want to jump in to a discussion. I felt like Twitter wasn't the proper medium for, because it allows this requires a lot of looking in the mirror, I think, and then also like acknowledging how the world works and then not putting that into your hatred for a promotion that exists by itself. Like, yeah. I think that's what a lot of it was going on here. So like, I actually had a conversation with my buddy Dan about this, and I was, I kind of told him, my feelings on it, and I figured I'd tell the rest of you guys like on it here as well. My thing is, as you mentioned, James, we're getting who's left, kind of, and that's already been a star, and then you start thinking about like the combo of how many folks that are currently under contract that are elsewhere, whether it's Evolve, the pipeline like that, WWE, or even places like Impact or ROH, stuff like that. Who has access to relationship with guys that are doing much of the recruiting in AEW? So if you look at the different divisions, like Kenny Omega's recruiting all the women essentially, and then the other people that we can put a public like face to recruiting are the Young Bucks and Cody. Now think about who has access to those relationships, and remember, this is a business like any other business that are based on relationships. And then you look at the actual number of black wrestlers that are out there. Now, I know the work has been done by an excellent account named Black Rexcellence, I believe. When you're starting to look at that list, right, that he put, the first, I want to say 35, if 30 of them aren't WWE, it's higher, I believe. So when you get past the top 30, you're starting to get into picking from 45, and below, and, these people just haven't got that far yet. Now, look at the wrestlers that came into AEW. So you're talking about someone like a Sonny Kiss, right? Where did Sonny Kiss work? He's been on national TV before, and he's been through the Northeast Indies. You know who else worked a ton of Northeast Indies? Cody.
Yeah.
So
because of what? And also, the Hog stuff in New York. So
right. So I'm getting there with the Young Bucks. So like,
okay,
the actual like demographics of black wrestlers, let alone ones that you can push as main event caliber right now, which is what the complaint is, and that aren't locked up somewhere. And this is a thing that is like caught on, and somehow, James, WWE has been painted as the black company. Do you understand this at all? Like,
I'm sorry, what?
The abhorrent history like that WWE has with black wrestlers. Okay, they have been painted as the black company.
Let's start right here. The only black company in American pro wrestling right now is like reality wrestling because Booker T runs it.
And Hog.
Yeah, I forgot about Hog too. Like, if you want to say FUW when it was running or whatever else or whatever, yeah, sure. But like for me, it's just look, if WWE has the top 35 people, that does not mean the AEW is off the hook for not going through 35 to 100, 150, right? So, like, it's still on them to search out and find talents that they think can develop into whatever they want, whatever they're looking for, right? So, it's just like how they went out there and they signed Jungle Boy, even though Jungle Boy has next to no experience, or not next to no experience, but a very little, very limited experience. The same reason, like,
think about Jungle Boy, though. think about Jungle Boy. So he's got a relationship with Bar Wrestling, PWG, Joey Ryan. That's a pipeline. That's just a pipeline a lot of black wrestlers aren't in right now.
I understand that, but like if the pipeline is simply like, all right, okay, so who was it? Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is the coach for the Bucks now, and he hired a black offensive coordinator, a black defensive coordinator, a black special teams coach. And I believe they're the first NFL staff to ever have all black secondary coaching staff like that. And he was interviewed about it, and basically he more or less said, like, if you want to make these hires, you identify the talent, and then you go and get them, and regardless of whatever it is whatever it is. So for me, like, yes, I understand what AEW is up against because so many people that they could have used, like they could have definitely used Strickland, like, or they could definitely use ACH. Oh well, they're gone. Now it's on you to go out there and go find and start finding people, right? Like if you can go find Wardlow somewhere or wherever the fuck you found him at, you can go find about AR Fox or AR Fox is a bad example because he's involved or whatever. You get my point. You can go look for dudes. Like, there's some people for example, like Troy Hollywood. Is he in the pipeline with WWE right now?
He's right now in FIP, which is like the promotion you're in before you get to Evolve. And currently, I talked to him the other day. He's trying to angle and go for an Evolve contract. So pretty soon he will be out of the pipeline. But so they do have to get better at their recruiting. I'm not saying people are wrong for questioning this or anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is not a simple conversation, and people want simple answers so they can be they can just say that, I was right, as opposed to, talking this.
And I wouldn't want them just to sign a black wrestler for the sake of having black wrestlers either. Like, sign people that are good, sign people that, can be stars, and if they happen to be black too, that's good also, like in this case, right? And I don't know. Yeah, we keep it a buck here. Like, so a lot of these people who send these tweets, they're just feigning utter confusion. Apparently, these are like the first black people I've ever met that don't know that we normally have to work twice as hard to even get chances or seen. Like, I don't like that, but that's kind of how the country works. But like I don't really understand how people don't know what's going on. They just see. It's like they've closed, like they're not thinking about things like, there are pipelines that exist, there are relationships that exist, and folks actually have to, I think, they need to get those chances to get to a PWG. It's a lot that goes on. Private Party, as I was mentioning, they wrestle for House of Glory, who's House of Glory have a great relationship with, the Young Bucks. And so maybe House of Glory is the path for more, black wrestlers to get into AEW.
Maybe it is, but ultimately, I'm saying where I kind of are landing on this is, I understand this landscape as far as AEW or WWE have most of the black talent for wrestling, or a gigantic share of it. But if AEW wants to actually, if they want to talk about diversity themselves and all that kind of stuff, and Cody wants to come out here and talk about how he's not doing the colorblind thing because he's learned his lessons from his wife, then they're going to put that to the test, and they're actually going to have to go out there and find diamonds in the rough. And look, that's part of the job anyway, because WWE's been hoarding a bunch of talent, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, and otherwise anyway. So they're just gonna have to do the same thing they're doing with everybody else.
Yep.
And that's where I'm leaning on. So yes, I understand what they're up against, and there's nobody that just comes out screaming to you right now. But that, they still gonna have to go and do their work and go get a few people to eventually help develop or making the stars. Like, they can go out there and claim that they made Private Party or Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy into to feel like stars in a matter of a show or two. Like, if they have that kind of magic touch, I don't see why they can't work some of this black magic either. You know what I'm saying? I know what they're up against, and but they're still gonna have to do it. So it's on them, and we'll see. We'll see in time.
So
and
for what it's worth, like, so PW Torch, I believe it was Rich Fan, actually asked a question to Tony Khan during the last scrum, like, where are the the black wrestlers of color? Khan said it would be addressed rather soon, and early in the promotion, he kind of gave that hint. So all we can do at this point is kind of wait and see if they're lying to us or not. And if they're lying about it, feel free to go ahead and jump on their heads. But I'm kind of willing to see if if he's bullshitting or not. I don't know if that's an unreasonable stance on it.
Yeah. I'm willing to give them the time, whatever time is necessary for them to go ahead there and do what they say they're gonna do. But at the same time, I'm still sitting here when I posted that thing about the fact that, like, the people that are, I remember when I posted that tweet about back in January about, like, y'all, the talk about diversity is garbage because y'all ain't talking about diversity, y'all talking about just black people, and y'all need to be okay with saying black people and stop
ducking,
trying to and stop trying to pull punches. So then, like, people that just wanted to immediately, say those people are crazy that have those concerns, and even if they are FDSs, those are legitimate concerns,
right? Like,
they wanted to try to use it to dunk on people, and I had to tell people that are liking my tweets and be like, hey man, y'all need to chill because, like, y'all are pretending like this isn't an actual legitimate problem everywhere else in the world and issues in places beyond just wrestling. So, like, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to knock that out. I'm telling people they need to say what they really want to say, and y'all are acting like it's something that is not. So I'm in the middle on both of this. I'm not on either side on this one.
Right. It's and it's crazy. A lot of stuff was going on Twitter, like, as far as it was just a lot of stuff on Twitter, like a lot of mudslinging going a lot of different ways, and I would say nothing's going to be accomplished when you get in these conversations except waiting to see what happens on this front, and then you'll probably have something better to work with. Launching with main event ready African American stars is kind of difficult based on the contract situation and everything like that. As we mentioned, Tony Khan said this would be addressed. Who they have in mind, I don't know. I looked at the list. Guys I can vouch for personally, and me being a wrestling junkie and everything like that, there's only like 3 guys I can think of that aren't, locked up somewhere. It's Saeed Al-Sava, Troy Hollywood, and Snoop Strikes. After that, I'm even, like, learning more stuff about a guy like Darius Lockhart. I actually got, turned on to, like, some of his promos on Twitter. So a guy like that would be incredible for AEW. So it's really, as James mentioned, it's on them to do the work now. Like Cody likes to say, do the work. Now it's really time to do the work, sir.
Yeah.
So
like, and look, if it comes down to you need to start signing people to developmental deals, whatever else, or like similar to what they're doing with like Sadie Gibbs, for example, who's only worked like a few dozen days before she ever got signed to AEW, then you have to, like, take your ass somewhere and find some great athletes and teach them how to work, just like how you did with Sadie Gibbs.
Yeah.
If there ain't none, make some. Period.
Yeah, man. So I just kind of want to, bring that up briefly here on the show. If you were jumping out of your head onto, just bash people and everything, just let that go. Like, you're not getting anything out of it. You're not of higher moral ground for doing this either. So, and it's kind of like why I was talking to Josh. It was like, just Twitter's just trash in general. And then I don't know. It's it's becoming less and less of a fun place to be. We mentioned last week when Kenny and Dijakovic were going at it. We were here having a good old time with the jokes, and then just people just ruining it. Just like, oh my God, shut up. Let's just let them talk. I heard a great quote this weekend. It was, I think someone may have said it on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Let these companies, don't fight for these companies. Let these companies fight over you. Like, that's kind of what needs to happen right here. And I'm ready for AEW as much as anybody, but if you think I'm about to just, like, let these niggas slide on just about everything, you have another thing coming. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, man, I was kind of disheartened by the whole thing, because, like, I'm trying to like be as open and on this issue as anyone. Obviously, there's a conflict of interest, me being a black person here. So it's just a thing where it's like there are a lot of conversations to be had, and Twitter's a terrible medium for a lot of them. So be careful when you engage in such conversations if you choose to do so. So that's just a message from in general. So because yeah, man. So what should we talk about next, James? Cool transition.
I mean, since you want to talk about Twitter being a toxic place, how about a place that how about like if what if you have authored in and cultivated a just a stellar mute list to avoid spoilers for an event, and then all of a sudden like it works perfectly for you for 36 days, 36 glorious days. And then at the time we need it the most, the condom breaks, and you're just ruined.
Sucks,
bro. I have a list on Stardom of Stardom wrestlers and past and present, and people like Rossi Ogawa, Yuri the ring announcer, the male ring announcer, Fumi, I think Semper Vivi's even on it. Like, because I know Semper Vivi actually, we talked about Stardom a little bit when we hung out in New York. So I have that list of people blocked, and I block it every single time before there's going to be a Korakuen Hall show, and I had it blocked for the past or since the Grand Prix started. And I also have a even longer list of keywords blocked out, names, everybody's name that's on the roster is blocked out, first and last. I'm not playing. I'm sorry. I'm not playing.
Do you have the Japanese characters muted as well?
No, I do not, because if I have their accounts blocked and I have their English names blocked, I should be good, right? So this system has worked for me since like at least like May. Every Korakuen blocked. I don't, I unspoiled perfectly. Get through this tournament. You get to the last day. Everything's perfectly fine. Stardom puts up because the show was last night. Stardom puts up the championship match. Still unspoiled. So I'm like, okay, I get to watch the final night. So there's like 5 people in play on one block. There's 2 people playing the other block. There's 7 people that play. I get to watch these 7 people fight to get into this final between I think that's over 4 matches. And then I scroll down my timeline, watching going through the football stuff. See Dalvin Cook is out here eating up the Raiders. And then I see Jim Valley. He retweeted. Rich, you have no idea how furious I am about this one, because this is nothing to do with Jim. Jim's great. Jim's very helpful. He helped me out trying to figure out if we were gonna be able to make it from the Stardom show in New York to Brooklyn or New York to take over New York.
Yep.
He helped me out with that. Very helpful in line. He retweet with a comment, and I got spoiled on who won the Grand Prix before it even happened. And the worst part about it is what he retweeted was from an account that I had blocked. So apparently if you are not blocked but muted. So apparently if you mute someone's account, somebody retweets the shit, it still comes up on your timeline.
Bro,
I was
so you remember
so hurt.
You remember a couple months ago when they had that like it was like the African phrase, it was like Sko Patu Mana. I got all those. I muted that and it didn't work. Like it still just kept coming through. Every third tweet, like
dude.
So
I don't ask for much. I haven't watched the match. I'm not going to discuss it. I'm going to wait until all the other the rest of that show comes out with all the other matches, because there's also a Kagetsu and Arisa match that's it's not for anything. It's just to finish out the night or finish out the block. That's also great. So I'm not gonna comment on it until all the stuff comes up. I'm gonna watch it. So, and I also don't know who won the other block. So, I don't know who the winner faced in the final. So, there's still stuff for me to watch, to be intrigued about, but it damn sure hurt. Like,
damn.
I really tried. Like, I've enjoyed this tournament so much, and just to have that one, just, you know, whenever I watch these matches, some of them is gonna be like, yeah, 3.5, but it was a 4-star match. Well, I got ruined, so I can't. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't go back in time and fix how I feel while watching it. So there we go.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I won't talk about anything else. So whenever James watches that, we'll be back to talk about the Stardom stuff. We won't spoil it for you guys here on the show today if you guys are checking for that. So we got actually, I got sent something from Ryan Evans. What's up, Ryan? He it's really funny because Ryan will send a question or like a comment he has to like a tweet that's like a week old. It's always hilarious. But he said he heard he has an interview, he was talking about Chris Benoit's son, David Benoit, and he's trained to be a wrestler. He's actually been on Talk is Jericho before, and there was a report of him wanting to join AEW. And he wanted to ask, do we think he should or should he stay away from wrestling because who his dad is? Personally, he thinks that he's done nothing wrong. I think he should get an opportunity like anyone else, but that's his opinion.
Yeah. Look, I believe that what's Chris Benoit's son's name?
David Benoit.
David. I believe David Benoit should be able to get a fair shake wherever he goes. But the problem is he won't. So, like, if he wants to become a wrestler, and I was talking to Caleb about this the other day. Like, if he wants to become a wrestler and he wants to make a name for himself, he's probably got to leave the country because I mean, I have a hard time imagining. Now, look, I could be wrong, but I have a hard time imagining that, you know, Corgan in NWA or MLW or Ring of Honor or WWE or AEW or Impact. I have a hard time believing that any of those companies would, like, in good faith, just go out there and hire him if he's good enough, just off rip, unless he has something more besides just being another good wrestler. So, like, he's gonna have to go out there to Japan or somewhere else and make his bones and get buzz for him, and the people will be able to, you know, be able to overlook that. But like just fresh face, like I have a hard time imagining him like, or I actually not have a time like, can you imagine a million years that like, oh yeah, like we have Chris Benoit's son, let's bring him to the PC. I don't.
Never. He's gonna have to like. Would you say he's gonna have to be Wild Pegasus 2 or something like that? Like,
yeah, I was like, yeah, he's gonna have to go to Japan to be Wild Pegasus Jr.
Yeah.
And then I believe then Jeremy made the joke about like, what is El Viking del Hingo? That's his name?
El Hijo de Vikingo.
Yeah, so you say he's gonna have to go out there and be El Hijo del Pegasus or whatever.
Yeah, I also think he should get the chance to pursue his wrestling how he chooses to. You know, even if it comes to eventually having to change his name, it's gonna be really hard for companies to even like be like, well, this is the son of, you know, such and such. He's almost gonna have to be like, you know. I think there's a way to do it. I think the Pegasus idea isn't the worst thing. Yeah. They could do. Put him in the blue tights.
Yeah, look, I can put. I'll say it just as simple. Like, I'm gonna say just simple. Like, ain't nobody in entertainment desire hiring O.J. Simpson's kids.
Yeah.
Look, and that's fucked up because they had nothing to do with it. But I don't make the rules, and apparently the rules is people ain't trying to deal with none of that. They don't want no look. Wrestling business got a bad enough name as is, but like bringing back a Benoit, even though he's just a guy, like bringing back that name, that's gonna be a tough ask for any company, for somebody that doesn't already have something on the table to provide for them.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that if he's good enough, or if he makes a name for himself, I believe he will get hired, but he has to go do that somewhere else first, though.
Yeah, he's got to go. He got to get a passport, start running up the numbers.
Yep. Like, he gonna have to go to Spain and start. He gonna have to go to Spain and start and go
fight the A
pound
kid.
for pound with A kid. Yes. gonna have to go pound for pound with A-Kid, or he's gonna have to go out there and take his ass to WXW and start working Dragunov and Walter and whoever else.
Yeah, way out there.
Yeah,
maybe they're a little bit more looser on this type of thing here, but yeah, man. Did you catch these new batch of NXT shirts, James?
Yes, I did. And so many of them for people that like haven't even been on TV or haven't been on TV in forever, and like who knows when they'll ever come back, if they'll ever come back. Like the Cita Deonna Purrazzo one, when she's like, I think the last time she was on NXT television was like August for the match on the pre-show of Brooklyn 4 against Bianca Belair. Is like, that's the last time we've seen her on TV. She got a t-shirt. Chelsea Green, who has not been on NXT TV since signing. I believe there were also like
there's a horrible, atrocious Kona Reeves one that's just literally Kona Reeves, like in plain font. Like people were clowning him, saying y'all might as well just put them Times New Roman fonts on there. These shirts made that old Neville shirt look not that bad.
I don't even remember the Neville shirt.
Oh,
I think the ones that were okay, like 27 or 26 of them were just very, very, very basic.
Right.
But
there were like 3 or 4 that were good.
The Dream's new shirt is good. Dream has had like three very good shirts in a row. The Street Profits had a red shirt that was cool. But the class of this entire section of shirts that just came out is, I believe, was it black or was it black? It
was
blue?
Black.
Okay, was a black Street Profits shirt that is stylized in the image of the classic pen and pixel album covers from 90s and early 2000s rap albums. So, like, if you ever seen a pre 2004 Cash Money album cover, it looks in a similar vein to that. If you ever saw any like Houston rappers from that same time frame, if you ever saw some Swisher House type stuff,
right,
or anything from Memphis, even a little bit of Atlanta, but mostly those 3 places, it looked just like one of those album covers. It was fantastic. I cannot wait to buy one of those shirts.
I love how the Street Profits is sneaking stuff in.
I don't know how Vince keeps finding ways to get money from me. Like, he keeps getting into $9.99 every single month, but like, I haven't bought a WWE shirt in a minute. Like, I don't think I've bought one since probably since WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
But he found a way to get this $30-something bucks out of my hands. I don't know how he's done it. Look,
scammer.
He got me. He got me.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what to say. He got me.
So, another thing I want to talk about, I asked this question on Twitter, I want to say maybe like less than a week ago. And I was kind of like fishing for a certain response that would be like, well, if you respond like this, then how do you justify, whatever. So my question was, will Kofi Kingston get a second world title reign?
For the WWE title or Universal title?
Sure, yeah.
No.
I'm right there with you. And my thing was, I was looking for people that wanted to say yes on this, right? And
why? So you can like NBA Jam on?
Okay, maybe a little bit, right? But
you ain't shit, Rich.
My thing would have been like, okay, so if you say no, right, and you're someone that maintains he's had this great reign, which there are those that feel that way, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. If the reign is so good, why wouldn't he get the belt again?
Right.
So that was kind of like my thinking asking this. And I was like, yo, with Brock Lesnar coming back now, of course, to SmackDown, they're going to be doing a one-on-one match for the title on the first night on Fox. Looks like Vince is immediately about to get back into Brock Lesnar business. And it's been, the end of the road for Mr. Kofi. Do you think this thing just flopped? And, if so, who's it on? Like, what did they, like, where did it go wrong in this title reign?
Well, I wouldn't call it a flop because he was he was I think he was a very, very good on. I think he was good on TV. I won't say I would retract very, very good, but like I think he was good on TV as a champion in a person that just went out there and took on challenges and beat people in the middle of the ring with his move over and over and over is a way that like for me it was refreshing to see because I'm tired of weak champions. Mm-hmm. From that aspect, I think on TV he was a much better champion than he was on pay-per-view. Like I think it's night and day. I think on pay-per-view he was very average to mediocre as a champion, but on TV he was actually one of the better main champions. And let's say in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. Now, what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry about that.
So like where did it go wrong? Like, you know,
right. Now where it went wrong was like they gave him safe opponents. Like it was almost like, I mean, obviously it's a work sport, but like they didn't give them any like I wouldn't say dangerous because obviously it's a work sport, but they didn't give him any opponents that the crowd believed was actually a threat to take the title from him. Like someone be like, oh, they're going to book somebody that could actually win this belt. I can't wait to tune in to see this Kofi match. Like it turned into like, okay, he beat Kevin Owens after they just literally like just said they moved Kevin Owens to the side. Oh, it's I'm trying to think. Oh, it's Dolph Ziggler, and that's been dead since fucking 2013, right? So or 2014. Until they like made sure they slammed that door after they brought back the Authority after that.
Oh yeah, they made sure
they slammed the door. So this dude's been a no shot as a top guy or being a top champion for like 5 years. There's not a chance it's going to be him. And then it got to order thing, and that's where things got interesting until the match started. Like it was really weird. Like, you know, we ultimately always talk about or the way we like our wrestling is we can forgive some of the flaws in a feud or whatever else if they deliver during the climatic moments, which are, for the most part, the pay-per-view matches, right? Like, you look back, I think 2016 feud of the year for us in the O&R Awards was Charlotte versus Sasha. And the reason why is because they had, like, 4 great matches spread out between all the TV matches they had or whatever else. And they also had Hell in a Cell, which went wonky and is divisive amongst me and you. Like, I think that match is just good. I think you like that. I believe you really, really liked that match at the time.
Yeah.
So, but that's because the matches won. It wasn't because of great character work. It wasn't because of a escalation in the storyline, or it was so distinct from anything else. It was just, or even because the story was even necessarily cohesive, even if it wasn't necessarily the most compelling. It was just that they had kick-ass matches, and you look around the rest of the company, and there was really good wrestling on that year, but like there was nothing that like really got, you know, felt special as far as like their chemistry in the ring that year. So we went with that. Like there was none with the Kofi and Orton thing, especially leading up to after SummerSlam. It was they're doing really, really good stuff on TV to build you up on this match. The problem is they gave us a match that most people do not want to see again, and then they're going to go out there and then like. No one wanted to see the match again. So it's like, from that end, like, it's one of those things where, like, they did good work, but ultimately they weren't able to execute, like, in the most important moments of a feud, which that sucks. But it fits into the thing about TV with Kofi. Like, Kofi was really good on TV, on pay-per-views, it was just lacking. So if they were able to figure out a way to kind of change that, or maybe they just need a shot in the arm with, you know, Daniel Bryan being back in the picture, sure, because Daniel Bryan never got a rematch.
You got one on TV, never did a pay-per-view rematch.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You're right.
So,
gotta remember they got him out of there quick.
Move around for the South, you know. Yeah, man, I was so excited to see Kofi Kingston be the champion, and
do you feel like this is a failure? Because this is what
yes.
It almost comes to me like that's how you feel it was a failure. Okay.
Yes.
I
do.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't necessarily disagree that it was a failure. But I don't think like this was anything that say like the talent was supposed to overcome. Like, yeah, he could have had better matches, but like we're talking about like what are we talking about? Like none of these matches are necessarily suck. These matches aren't necessarily good. Or great anyway. They're just well wrestled matches, and that's the end of it. They're just there.
I think we're looking at like 2.5 to 3 star city, like
yeah.
And it's just like I think the champion should be better than that.
Right. I agree.
And you know,
you should have more heat. You should have more heat as a champion. You should have more heat on pay-per-view than you do on TV.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, this goes with the company never really respecting the WWE Championship. You know, I had them underneath, you know, mixed tag matches with, you know, Corbin and Rollins and, you know, things of that nature. They could have easily swapped Kofi out, and, you know, it's nice they tried it. And I think there's only one real thing that can save it, but it looks like they ran out of time, is, you know, breaking up the New Day. Like, that would have been really the only thing that they could have done where it's like, oh, shit. Like, and we're going to, like, I would tune in to watch the breakup of the New Day, right?
Right, but I think...
Yeah, go ahead.
But don't you feel like ultimately they always felt like this is never going to be some... Like, right or wrong, they never thought there's going to be a thing to where, like, this is Kofi Mania is going to be like the next big thing or whatever. They always booked it.
You know what I think they think it was? And actually,
what?
Tom Gambardella brought this up. Said Kofi Kingston got the run that Daniel Bryan was going to get in 2014 before he gave that shit to Brock. Like Kofi's about to get that shit to Brock. And
yeah,
then,
except it was longer, but like, probably. Yeah, I see that.
Had he not got injured, he would have got to SummerSlam, got dropped on his fucking dome 16 times.
He got killed.
Yep,
yeah.
Killed him forever. Fortunate injury. You know, that's kind of like what Kofi is set up to be, is this babyface champion everybody likes. Like, no one likes Kofi Kingston less, I think. It just hasn't.
Right.
I don't think it's lit the world on fire like his pursuit of the championship. And, you know, what I believe in, I don't believe there's a such thing as, you know, someone being more interesting during the chase, right? I believe there are only bad challengers. And the company will set you up to be how successful you're going to be. And I don't think they set him up necessarily with people like that. Like, instead of having, you know, Joe, Ziggler, Orton, where was Andrade? Where was Nakamura? Where was where was a Roman Reigns? Like, something like that.
But but that's the problem with WWE. Like, they don't build people up into these moments in the way they should for their champions. Like, they just make somebody a champion and they say, go out there and fight whoever we decide for you to fight. And then it's like, well, this person like done enough. Has this person been doing interesting things, making people like the people that are watching excited to see this matchup? No, okay, fine, good luck. Like they did Corbin versus Seth, right? Like, they did no favors for Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they did Becky Lynch after WrestleMania against Lacey Evans. Why in the fuck would that do anything for Becky Lynch?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, that's a problem that's a problem that happened with Kofi, but that's not a problem that's specific to Kofi, because everybody's as champion out here getting these weak challengers. Like, the only person not getting weak challengers is like AJ Styles, and they tell him to go out there and have these lame matches.
Yes.
So yeah.
But
or actually, you know, it was funny because like people, I have to go back and watch. I never watched, but like people said that Cedric match was good, except it was just short and AJ's kicked his ass. And I'm like, well, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Not okay. That still don't excuse like what the fuck happened at SummerSlam with Ricochet of all people. But yeah, all right. Like that, like that's where we've gone to with AJ Styles matches. Like, we've gone from AJ is like the only guy from I don't know how long that was in WWE and was able to compete with the rest of the world, to all of a sudden, like, after that, it's, he's the best in WWE, to like, now it's like, what the fuck's going on now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really weird what's happened to AJ. Like, it's almost like, is he old? Is he broken down? Is it just like, is it just the entire company is just a complete mess and AJ is another example of it? Because I mean, there's a lot of that lead to, for me, it would lead me to believe that like, the entire company is just a mess on the main roster.
On some days I'll be like, AJ Styles is washed up, and then other days I'll be like, oh, AJ Styles is still good, and then oh, the company fucked the match. Like, you know, like, and it's like we don't know which one's gonna happen at any time.
Right, it's like he had the best match. He had the best entire match in the entire company so far this year on the main roster, right? Or not the company, but on the main roster this year. That Seth and AJ match, right? And then like he'll go on TV for and back when they were doing the no wrestling doing commercial breaks, and then like he'll go out there and have like an 8-minute match with Ricochet. And it's like, dude, I can't wait till they go on pay-per-view. And then they go on pay-per-view, and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? So I don't know what's going on. Like even I can't even like bet. And I'm the thing like point where I'm just like, yo, what the fuck's going on with AJ? Like I know he has a lot of shit going up against just like everybody else in his company. Even fucking Roman Reigns is going up against their bullshit. But like at some point, like we got to start, you know. At what point do we recoup our bread? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point does all the fuck finishes and nonsense they did with Nakamura and whatever else, like, at what point do we finally get repaid by that? And also, but if the answer is, well, you got your Daniel Bryan match in December, you got your Seth Rollins match in, I don't remember what month that was after WrestleMania.
I think it was May.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but like.
It ain't enough.
But like a classic match once every 6 months ain't enough for me. I'm sorry. Like that dude's too talented for this nonsense. Knock it the fuck off. Look, either the company or AJ Styles or both of y'all need to knock it the fuck up and get it together. Because
plan.
Yeah, like you gave me a year and a half of excellence, and now it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. It's quite disheartening sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? Like imagine. It's like the sex has gotten less great after we've committed. You know what I'm saying? The longer we've been together, the sex has gotten less great.
Just less spectacular, less excellent. So AEW has officially the name is AEW Dynamite. It will be on Wednesday nights, of course. Any thoughts on the name, James?
Is it Dynamite or Wednesday Night Dynamite?
It's AEW Dynamite.
Has anybody done a JJ Walker Dynamite?
Yes. I believe that's a thing that got done.
Okay, all right. Because like I don't know why every time I hear the word Dynamite, I think of like remember Kanye sampled that shit for I think it was it for Rhyme Fest?
I can't remember.
He sampled JJ. Yeah, he sampled Dynamite for a hook for somebody, and it kept playing over and over. I think it was for Rhyme Fest. And I was just like, every time I hear the word Dynamite, I think of JJ Walker yelling Dynamite. My brain works in weird ways. Y'all know that. So
it seems like everything from the initial report on AEW, like somehow it hasn't been like 100% accurate. But what would happen? It was kind of like a Rubik's cube. You just had to turn it a little bit, and then it would be accurate. Yeah. Like Dynamite, the people that were involved, like Ross and Jericho. We didn't know about
Ross, Jericho, and Khan.
Yeah,
no, Ross, Jericho, and Khan. That story came out, and they were like, remember Jericho came out there. You know, Jericho, Ultimate Worker. Nah, not true.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
now look. You say it's not true. Now you out here, you know, doing God knows what in Tallahassee.
Yes.
in a Longhorns.
You know, going viral on this bitch. Like,
yeah.
So like the AEW Double or Nothing, like that trademark, All Out was a trademark. So was Dynamite. So literally everything has happened. So score another one for the dirt sheets. So
will you have preferred it to be Dynamite like it is now, or will you prefer it just to be AEW?
Like, I'm cool with Dynamite. Like, it gives them like
I don't
brand.
hate it.
Yeah,
it's not a terrible name, but like I think that if you gave me my choice of just call it All Elite Wrestling on TNT or All Elite Wrestling Dynamite on TNT, is like what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna run 2 shows? Y'all gonna do a Thunder? Please don't.
See, I think they're trying to have like, you know, eventually be in a position like Dynamite is the franchise, you know, and eventually like sell that franchise or get paid for that franchise. Like when you associate a certain quality of show with this brand, that's kind of what I think they're going for there. The tag team tournament bracket dropped. I'm not sure if we talked about it on the last show, did we?
We may have.
Okay.
We may have.
Okay, so just in case we did, we'll run through it real quick. So,
okay.
On the left side of the bracket, we've got Bucks Private Party, Lucha Bros, Jurassic Express. The Jungle Express is in Stardom. But then right side of the bracket, we've got SCU taking on the Best Friends, and then we've got Dark Order with a bye there. So they are fighting nobody in the first round. They're automatically in the semifinals. So for me, you know, it's the Bucks need to go ahead and get it done. But the finals are on TV, so that leads me to think that there's still a big match plan for pay-per-view that does not involve any combo of these teams in the tournament. unless it's a rematch, which I don't know. That would be rather lame. I think Santana and Ortiz are going to be waiting for the winner. Also, I think Sonny Kiss is getting a shot at Chris Jericho in Philadelphia.
Huh. What makes you think that?
He's undefeated.
Is he?
He is.
Didn't he lose in the Battle Royal?
He's undefeated in singles.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That's just an early prediction. I base that on nothing but the fact that he's undefeated, and then Sammy Guevara's getting a shot at Cody. Cody was putting it out there. If he loses, he won't be in the title match. So I think that they'll go and they're going to bow to the pressure that we were talking about earlier in the show, I think, and really give Sonny Kiss that stage against someone like Jericho. I think Jericho would embrace that challenge a lot. So I would think it would be a cool match because if you guys haven't seen what Sonny Kiss can do in a longer form of a match, I recommend the Sonny Kiss and Jack Evans match from Lucha Underground. I think Jericho can figure it out because he can figure out just about anything.
Yeah. So is there an update on? And I do realize that we actually did talk about this last week or whatever because we were joking about how how ridiculous it was that Evil Order got a bye by like not having a bye. Like they had to have a match to get a bye,
right.
Like that, which is only one round, it's not 2 rounds. So effectively, like they had to play just like everybody else, so they have more days rest. And like the only way they can explain it well is if they say like they had multiple days off as opposed to having to wrestle 1 week and then have another grueling match a week later. So what was I going to say to you? I can't even remember. I've just blanked out that fast. Sorry about that.
This man's losing it.
Yeah.
So, one funny thing I did catch on Twitter was Orange Cassidy's like starting to get around, and I haven't just seen this just on Twitter. Like it's kind of gone viral, where people are like, "Who the fuck is this dude? He's doing cool shit." I've seen people on my personal Facebook that don't even like watch wrestling at all posting about how cool it was that he was doing moves in his pockets and things like that. So I'm like, man. So for like non-fans. Like this is what's like kind of appealing to them. Like there's someone that sent a tweet out, right? And it was like, bruh, who the fuck is this? This nigga's saucy as fuck. It has 36,000 retweets and 105,000 likes on it. I don't know.
I'm guessing he was doing like dives with hands in his pockets and in
the one
in
from,
the shades on,
the one from All Out where he dove on the Dark Order and shit.
Gotcha. Okay.
And let's see, I don't think this person is any type of celebrity or anything. Okay, they have 50,000 followers, whoever did this, right? So, yeah, and everyone's explaining who he is in the comments. Looks like, is getting around, and people are showing love. So, good for Orange Cassidy, but that is like strange. It makes me think that, there might be something to Orange Cassidy. I don't know yet. I've never watched a full match of his, a singles match or anything, but I don't know. so somebody likes it. So,
yeah, I mean, I think there's a utility to it as far as like you think it's like there's a comedy aspect to it that should be able to work. I just think you have to take care with it so that you have to take care with it just like any other comedy act so it doesn't mess around and end up screwing up something as far as like the people that you think are money. That's all.
So the next person getting a shot at the Universal title, of course, is our good friend on One Nation Radio, Bray Wyatt. So after Halloween season, how much longer do you see the Fiend having this lasting power? Should they just go ahead and just strap it to him and try to like ride it out, or should they just use him to enhance Seth Rollins? Because I don't know, enhancing Seth Rollins seems kind of lame right now.
I don't know. I don't think I'm really in on anything like involving. I won't sacrifice nobody that I think could have a future for Seth Rollins right now at this point in time. Like I will have him out there like beating Rey Mysterio or AJ Styles or whatever else, or whoever else you can pick this line on too. But like if I have somebody I think is on the rise or whatever else, or somebody that looks like they could that has a buzz going for them the big time, I kind of save it for later. Now, as far as the Bray thing but now they're in the situation that they're in now with it seems like he's going to have the match at Hell in a Cell. I don't know how to get out of it. like, I mean, if it were me and like you have to pick a winner and that be your next champion, there's no easy way out, like the fuck the fans. Then I think you make Bray Wyatt a champion. But I think that they're gonna find some alternative to that. Absolutely, because they're always weird with Bray Wyatt, and also like they're kind of they're in this weird thing with Seth Rollins right now, where it's like they've committed to him, but it's like
they let him beat Brock Lesnar and Strowman back to back clean.
Right.
People were not happy about this either. You know what people I'm talking about.
Right. So yeah. So it's like for me, it's like even though it's not going well, you've done all that. You've. It's the same thing we talk about Bray or Brock Lesnar at times. Like you have beaten people that had value to get this dude over or quote unquote over to a certain extent. So like now, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to sacrifice Braun Strowman again to like do something unsuccessful to be for the person that just like conquered that hurdle to be unsuccessful again? Like they did that at going into WrestleMania 34. So, they put themselves into a corner. How do they keep doing this?
This is,
you know what I'm saying?
This is what they're known for, James. This is all they do.
Like this is very similar. This is very similar to, or not very similar, but like because CM Punk's way more popular. Like this is kind of like CM
as a
Punk
heel.
Yeah, right. Like this is they have something that parallels at certain points, like the Bray Wyatt and Ryback thing, and you saw how they got themselves out of that one. And I don't know, like I heard somebody suggest like you use Finn Balor to come back as a demon to get to make the save for Seth, and I'm just like, I've had enough of Seth Rollins getting saved in fucking Hell in a Cell matches.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you got that, and also like not Drew, but Balor was just gone for he's only gone for 2 months. Like save that. Like if there's a potential, Fiend versus Demon thing, like you need to say that shit for Royal Rumble or WrestleMania.
Yeah, man.
Like it's funny. We were talking about the Kishin Liger stuff off air.
Oh,
right?
Did you want to talk about that on air? Cause boy, I'm looking at a picture of this shit. This man has a fucking spike.
Well, I brought it up because I was thinking about how, we were talking about kind of like supernatural, creepy stuff, gimmicks or whatever else. So now I just thought of the Kishin stuff. So yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. It and shouts out to guys like Keeping It Strong Style. They had been talking about Kishin Liger years ago, or last year at least. Like that was the first time I ever heard about it. And he only pulled Kishin Liger out on separate occasions. Only 3 other times in his career. This is the 4th time. It looks a little different now. Of course, he doesn't have any more hair, but he's like painted up the whole head white. There's like black paint on it. He's a lot more aggressive. He was fucking up refs. He had Minoru Suzuki scatting like a bitch. He damn near tried to kill Minoru Suzuki today by jamming a spike through his forehead, but Suzuki moved and the spike went through the Japanese table. So he was he put some heat behind that strike. I ain't never seen no shit like this. So
okay, so I was actually at brunch, and this because I guess it's my day with the spoilers online on Twitter. Luckily, I didn't care about being spoiled when it comes to New Japan. I only cared about the Grand Prix. I got fucked on that one. We already discussed that. We'll move on. I'm still reeling, but we'll work through it. So, I see a GIF, or actually a video, and I have no audio, but all I see is Liger getting choked out. He's in the sleeper from Suzuki. I see him do a reverse low blow with his foot. Then all of a sudden, I see him take off his mask. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Now I see Penny with the mask. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then all of a sudden he rips off his the bodysuit, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? and then he blows miss. I'm like, wait, what?
Yes.
And then he grabs a spike and he tries to stab. He tries to murder. He tries to murder Minoru Suzuki. I'm like, yo, what is this? What is this? So then I see people saying Kishin Liger. I'm like, what the fuck is Kishin Liger? I get on the wiki. October 20th, 96. Muta versus Liger. Muta's cheating. He's using brooms and shit, and all types of stuff, cheating, going underneath the ring. And all of a sudden, he starts cheating even more. He rips the mask. Liger goes face down. Muta gets out the ring, grabs a chair, gets in the ring. All of a sudden, Liger lifts up. He has a pale pain on his face, and it freaks Muta the fuck out. And then they continue to wrestle. So I hop on I go and start Googling around. I think it's on Daily Motion. Watch the match. Dude, like, I know it was 96 and it wasn't a classic match or anything, but except for like this, the end of the match with the Kishin thing. Uh-huh. Dude, you watch how sudden like Muta is, and you watch him like work with Liger. It's like, this is why these are all two of the all-time greats. Right? Mm-hmm. You're like Jesus, like their charisma and like their theatricality just like off the charts. When one has paint on, the other one has a mask on until the other one takes off the mask and he has paint underneath him. Dude's like, and then you watch Liger when he takes off the mask and he has the paint on with the hair, and he's making this like this animalistic like howling woo noise, and you're just like, yo, this is what like I don't know how he only used this one time. This should have been like an era of his career. Like he should have used it a lot more as like, okay, if you piss this dude off enough, like he will go to this level and there is no saving you.
Yes.
Like I will send you the link and you watch, you'll be like, yo, this is one is like, yo, this is wild, and two is like, now we understand why that dude was so charismatic. You're able to understand all his emotions for all these years, even with the mask on, because like even when he takes the mask off, he's emoting even then. He was like, yo, this dude was like one of the all-time great. Obviously, he was already one all-time great, but like he was like handicapping himself, and he was still one of the all-time greats.
I mean, playing with a handicap.
Yes, and he was still taking the best.
Off the high end.
Yes. So you're just like, yo, but anyway, like I'm interested to see this whole thing, and I saw there was talks about when Minoru previously had took the mask off, he was saying, I want to see the real you. So like they were kind of always alluding to this. So like, I don't know how, we've been talking about this for months. Like, how are they going to like if the idea is they're going to save this to a Tokyo Dome show, the 4th or the 5th, how are they going to be able to keep this going? Well, they figured out how to keep this going.
Yeah, I really want to watch that eventual match that they do now. And I wasn't initially thrilled. I'm like, all right, Liger Suzuki, okay. And then I've heard more about, their backstories. They had a legit fight, and, that happened before. And,
right.
If you think about it, it's like, well, fuck it. Why not? Like, so,
yeah. Maybe the situation where, like, on the 4th, we get, Kishin versus Suzuki, and then like on the 5th, we have like the last match with Liger as Liger.
Right.
Like I think that would be appropriate, especially because there's 2 shows. Like you're going to need,
Well, yeah.
Like
unless they're going to Liger, let's see it.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk about today is I watched a video on YouTube. I'm not familiar with. I don't remember who put up the video. It's like a 27-minute look at how WWE ruined the summer of Punk in 2011.
Oh wow! We bringing this one back up, huh?
Yeah. So I'm we searching today, but I watched this the other day and it didn't even occur to me. So during this whole thing, not only did they cash in on CM Punk, right? Of course, to give him that L there. They then beat that man 3 consecutive pay-per-views. They had him lose to Triple H, who just randomly showed up out of retirement. They talked about all the Kevin Nash stuff and him not getting cleared.
Listen, and the whole entire storyline is that Punk is the returning babyface, the returning anti-hero, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Revolutionary for the disenchanted fan base. And they have him pick the fight with Triple H for the whole month, and then Triple H just beats him.
Yes. Yes, and they do all the interference, all the run-ins, all the finishers, all the kickouts. They have them take like 3 pedigrees. They have Miz and R-Truth run in. John Laurinaitis is involved. Kevin Nash is involved. Your grandmother's involved. Everyone's involved. They had him then team with Triple H. or excuse me. They had him lose in the Hell in a Cell the next month to take the pin by getting hit in the head with the pipe by Del Rio.
Yes.
Cena, of course.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Cena was locked out of the cage, so he couldn't possibly take the pin.
Yes. I look, we don't give WWE a lot of credit for being like really craftful, but like it is some poetry in a person delivering a pipe bomb, and then like we try to sabotage his career by having him getting beat to death with a pipe. Yep, that's like, look, that is just. I didn't think about it at the time, and now thinking about it now, it's like, wow, they really did do that.
Yeah, they was trying to cool his jets from day one. So instead of having Cena do the job there, and then promoting your
better yet, how about we just have CM Punk win the fucking thing back?
Correct. Apparently, so I'm just going on what they did. So they wanted to get to Punk and Del Rio at
Survivor
Series, right? Wouldn't that be a lot hotter if CM Punk wasn't the guy that actually got pinned? And he was coming in there.
Yes, but you got to remember the main event for Survivor Series that year was Awesome Truth versus The Rock and John Cena. So they couldn't beat Cena.
So they was putting themselves in the corner back then, James.
Yes, they've been booking themselves in the corners for years.
God. Yeah. Then they, fresh off of that, of course, the Awesome Truth ran it in the cage match and everything. They had Triple H and CM Punk then team up because we can give CM Punk the rub from Triple H.
What month is this?
This is like September by this point, I believe.
Okay.
Actually, no, this is October. This is Vengeance.
Okay, gotcha.
So they have them team up against The Miz and R-Truth, and they they beat CM Punk instead of Triple H. Or instead of The Miz and R-Truth, because The Miz and R-Truth have the headline against Rock and Cena the next month. So who gets fucked again? CM Punk. They have been fucking with us from the moment we came back, James. So, like, I just didn't see it until I watched that video.
Yeah. So remind me, because my vision's kind of fuzzy, or my memory's kind of fuzzy on this. So was that Hell in a Cell match where Del Rio grabs the pipe and locks out your boy Cena while he beats up CM Punk with the pipe? Like, was that also the same match where like Awesome Truth runs and beats up the cameraman?
Yes.
The crowd. They try. Triple H and the rest of some of the guys try to open up the door. They get him out, and then Triple H starts beating up R-Truth while they're handcuffed. That's all the same match.
Same match.
Dude, do you understand how overbooked that is? Think about we just said that. Listen, we just talked about a triple threat championship Hell in a Cell match where one person they ended up outside of the cage,
mm-hmm.
and then that leaves Cena to get locked out of it, and then Del Rio grabs a pipe and beats CM Punk to death with it so he can pin him. That is enough itself. So I'm assuming that. So I'm trying to figure out.
I think this is the post match.
Was R-Truth? I'm sorry. Was R-Truth and Miz under the ring or something, or what happened?
Okay.
How did they get into the ring?
Okay, so when the match ended, right?
Yeah.
They would have they raised the cage a little bit, and I think they ran it through the crowd, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to rewatch the match.
So you're telling me that telling me that Del Rio won, the match was over, and then they decided to invade after the match was over?
Right.
And that's how they went dark.
Yeah, and then they did that whole beatdown and the arrests and everything like that.
Okay. I don't see how like that helps out Del Rio, because like you don't even remember what the fuck just happened with your champion. But okay.
Yeah, and of course it was just like, wow. So we were gonna make them whole again after that, and we're gonna give them the championship match at Survivor Series, not in the main event, and finally cap off this whole summer by making him the champion.
Yeah, and they follow that through the rest of the way, but like I think he never main events pay-per-view.
He main events 5 out of 14 pay-per-views while he's the champion.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm confusing that with AJ. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's a lot more detailed. They go through the promos they were cutting, which were designed to make CM Punk look ridiculous. They were saying, different things of them backing into a corner with the Kevin Nash stuff. How when Kevin Nash finally came back, it wasn't even CM Punk who got to beat him. It was Triple H that got to beat him.
Right.
It was just a complete fuck up all around. Yeah. That's all pretty much.
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah.
Like it was. I have to go back. I mean, I probably have to. What's a good way to go back and over stuff, right? Is to go back to listen to Brian and Vinny pay-per-view reviews, instant reviews.
Yeah.
Like those are always either they're so enthusiastic or they're just murdering shit. So like if it's good, it gets praised for being good. Like there's a few things I enjoy more than hearing like Vincent Verhey like review a match that he loved. Like it is so enjoyable. It's like, yes, that's exactly what I enjoyed. I'm glad that you enjoyed the same thing I enjoyed during this match. Like when they talked about, for example, at SummerSlam, when they talked about how Brock was swinging around Seth by the rib tape, like that was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I guess I'm gonna have to go back and check that one out. And maybe they were paying attention to that, and we just weren't at the time either. It's just like because we had no context of this is a company that's not really, when we got back into it, it's like it seemed like they were firing all cylinders. Like they already had a top star in Cena. He's about to, they set up a year-long feud with The Rock and The Rock's coming back, and then you have this other guy come out of nowhere and cut this promo, and they cut in, this angle where like he leaves, he's champion, and like he's coming back, like that fed right into me coming right back, and like it seemed like they were a competent company, and also it was a 2-hour show, Raw, so it seemed like they were a competently ran company as far as their creative, and then like. The more you watch it, the more you notice the patterns, and you see like, why did this not get paid off, or why did they do this and then drop it, and why did this happen and this happened? Do
you remember how?
Like, do
you remember how furious I was how they blew off the conspiracy storyline, because I really thought that could have been.
Yeah, you fucking love that thing. You were like, yeah, man, like there's got to be a conspiracy behind it. Like, no, man, like there's no conspiracy. Like this is gonna be R-Truth just conspiracy Negro, and like Miz just an upset loser.
Yeah, I was quite like they could have.
You really wanted a higher power out this bitch. You really did.
I did. I did want a higher power. That's exactly it.
It was me, Cena.
It was me, Punk. It was me, Truth.
I mean, they never tied it all together, but like when they did the video of Laurinaitis sending the text from Triple H's phone to Nash, like wouldn't that be the conspiracy?
I would have to go back and look.
No, they never. It wasn't
because they ended up having Kevin Nash say he texted himself.
But wait, there was video of. They found footage of Laurinaitis texting Nash from Triple H's phone. Triple H was by his phone. Remember that?
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who look? I remember that. I don't know.
Somebody let us know that has watched this thing.
Yikes.
That remembers.
Yikes.
That's going to wrap the show up, guys, this week. So thanks for listening and all that. Make sure you check out the rest of the shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Of course, Sundays here, we got One Nation Radio. Tuesdays, we got Keeping It Strong Style. Wednesdays, Grown Men Watch This Shit. Every other Wednesday, that is. We got the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Wednesdays. Thursdays, we got Get in the Ring with Danny. And on the weekends, we got All Things Elite with Floyd, sometimes Amy, sometimes Tiffany. And we may have, some more as the Wednesday night wars heat up. We may have some review shows heading up directly after those shows. So look out. Nothing's finalized yet, but that's something we're talking about amongst, the network here, maybe like a floating type thing to where different you get different mashups of the crews here on Social Suplex. So, James, anything to add before we get up out of here, man?
No. We went into the show thinking like we really have much to talk about, and then like sure shit, like we just shot the shit on and it was recorded and we were able to get through it. How long was the show?
120 right now.
See, like even while we had nothing to talk about, we were able to stretch to over an hour.
Boy, look at us giving y'all this here good content, man.
Yeah, we definitely put in our half. So when next time it comes to one of these and we send out a thing, ask for you guys to ask us questions, you better than will ask us questions. Yeah. We out here giving. Yeah, it's time for you to give back.
Yeah, man. So make sure I'm actually putting out a series on my YouTube channel. You can check it out. For those of you guys that have ever checked out my music or anything like that, I'm doing a thing where I'm literally talking about how it all started for me from like the age of 11 up to current day. So I have 2 episodes in. I'm going to be talking about the third when I moved down to Florida. So this will probably be the next episode where I talk about when I met James for the first time. So,
oh God.
Got some new music coming soon. Been hard at work on that. So be on the lookout for a lot of that stuff as well.
Hey.
Yeah.
So I remember the other day you were making some joke about how T.I. said he was an OG at 24, right?
Yeah.
Right, because you don't know me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. You said even rappers use 11, right?
That's the first time I ever wrote a rap. I didn't really consider myself to be a rapper until like 8th grade. So 14. Like I felt like I was an artist at 14. But yeah, the first time I ever rapped was when I was 11.
Okay, I'm about to say you was OG at 24 too. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's gonna wrap it up. We will holler at y'all next week.
Later.